Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use Queen Charge Hybrid here at Townhall 11 to 3-star Townhall 12s. So here is the army composition that we are going to be using today, and the only thing I would quickly say is the Grand Warden should be on ground. He was accidentally set to air for this screenshot, but do not stress about that. For all of the equipment we have very basic stuff set up for this. If you have epic equipment, of course it's probably going to make your life a little bit easier. When it comes to the siege machine, that siege barracks is going to be your best friend. But let's jump in and we'll break this one down. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is identifying which portion of the base we're going to use that Queen Charge on. Now if you haven't used your Queen before in a Queen Charge, there's a few things you're going to want to keep in mind. The first of which being you want to make sure you use her to create a funnel as well as getting value. Typically you're going to want to try to create some sort of a funnel. Like you can see, we're using balloons and hogs as well as some wizards on these outside defenses. This is to push your Queen in to these compartments like in here that we want her to go. Now in this particular one, ideally we were looking to wall break her in either towards the town hall or towards this multi-target inferno, but sometimes things don't quite go your way. But one of the most important things when it comes to hybrid is taking down the enemy clan castle troops. We need to make sure that those CC troops are dealt with before we come in with that hybrid portion of our attack. Of course, we're going to use up a rage spell. When you rage up your Queen Charge portion, you want to make sure your rage spell also catches those healers. That is incredibly important. Poison spell, of course, came down just to help us deal with those clan castle troops, but we're waiting to kind of see what the Queen actually does here. It looks like she's going to be looping around toward that town hall, which in this particular one wasn't really ideal. We wanted to use our hybrid portion of the attack to deal with that town hall, and we wanted our Queen to walk down towards these Teslas and in towards this multi-target inferno. But sometimes things don't quite go to plan, so we're going to have to adapt on the fly here, and we go ahead, we drop down our king alongside that siege barracks at the opposite side of the base. So you can see now we have created the funnel over here and we have created the funnel over here, and now we're going to push in towards that town hall. Now if you haven't dealt with a Townhall 12 town hall before as a Townhall 11, they do fight back. You're going to have the mega Tesla coming out the top of this town hall. It is certainly going to be trying to deal some damage onto your troops, so you're going to want to make sure you're using that Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability to try and protect them up. In this particular one we got a little bit unlucky. The Eternal Tome ability wore off right as our troops were sitting over the top of it, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to continue pushing on through. Now we were pretty early actually here with our hybrid portion of the attack. We ended up bringing in our hogs and our miners slightly earlier than typical with these style of attacks, and it means that we get a pretty nasty split here in the core of the base. We get the hogs going off to one side and the miners going off to the other side. But it's not the end of the world if we can hopefully get some of these wall breakers to give our Queen access into these some back end compartments. King's going to be coming through. He is a very strong hero. He's definitely going to help you out. As you can see in this particular one, we have the really basic equipment on him. Like I said, anything epic is probably going to help you. The spiky ball, even the earthquake boots. I know that's a common piece of equipment, but the earthquake boots are pretty strong as well. But honestly, this attack is really versatile. You can use it on all different styles of bases. And the most important thing to consider is, even if things go wrong, like in this particular attack, this was not the, absolute perfect attack. The Queen didn't go the exact way we wanted her to. Our troops split up in the middle. Our king, who was meant to be funneling, ended up going into the middle as well. There was quite a few different things that went wrong with this attack. But the one thing that can carry the attack through is trying to keep your Queen alive for as long as possible. Raging her up, using the poison spell on the enemy clan castle troop, using those freeze spells on some of those key defenses, and even so, you guys can see we finished up this attack with a lot of troops. The link for this army composition is down in the description below as always, so feel free to go ahead and download it. But we have a couple more examples breaking down the specific strategy because it does take a bit of practice. So coming in with that second replay, we do have a fairly similar style base layout with this town hall fairly close to the outside, but like I said, there's a couple of things you're definitely going to want to try and do. The first of which is trying to deal with those enemy clan castle troops if at all possible. We're getting a nice early cocoa balloon in there, which is basically a test balloon to see if there's any seeking air mines. Once you have gone ahead and deployed that, you can get your healers in. You should be safe to do so. Creating again that funnel on that top section using that baby dragon, and then we can go ahead and get that queen pushing in towards that eagle artillery and hopefully close enough to start luring out those clan castle troops. Continuing on with this attack, we're going to keep dropping down one or two of those balloons, as you guys can see here. Those are to test, like I said, for those black bombs. We don't want to lose any of our healers. We would rather lose our balloons. Keeping an eye on our queen's progress, she is doing a fantastic job. We're going to bring in that minion just to help with that funnel a little bit, trying to speed along proceedings, because like I say, we're trying to push that queen in towards that clan castle. Now, looking at the rest of this attack, there's a couple of different ways you could probably go about this. Probably going to want to try and deal with that town hall early-ish. It's never fun to deal with the town hall on the back end of the base. But again, focusing fully on that queen, trying to protect her up for as long as possible. We had the rage come down on the queen, we froze up the enemy queen and clan castle troops, and then we went ahead and we got that poison spell coming in as well. And exactly as predicted, we're going to have that king coming in alongside that siege barracks from the top section of the base. Be very careful when it comes to the minion prince on defense. Of course, if he locks onto your king, you could be under some trouble. But luckily for us here, we do manage to continue through with this attack. Eternal Tome ability probably should have gone off a little bit sooner, because we ended up losing all of our Hog Riders, which is definitely not ideal. But we're going to have some Hog Riders coming through on the back end of this one, helping to protect our troops. We have one heal and one rage spell left up in this attack. Queen's ability eventually gets popped off in the middle, taking down that last Inferno tower, but so far so good. We're just going to continue pushing on through onto the back end of this one. Wizard just going to come down, starting to do some cleanup. Time potentially could be an issue in this particular attack, especially if you lose quite a lot of troops. But luckily for us here, we do end up having a couple of those spells through on the back end, and those Hog Riders that come out of our clan castle, of course out of that siege barracks, through in the back end can most definitely help with the attack. On this particular one, we don't quite finish maybe as strongly as the previous one, but we do still finish with a plentiful amount of hogs, miners, and of course our queen is in there as well. So this one's showing another pretty good example of sometimes things don't quite go right. You know, our king ended up going down really early to that minion prince, but we still created enough of a funnel that we were able to get lots of value from our heal spells, and we even managed to transfer over some of those rage spells to our hybrid portion of the attack. And here we are with a pretty unorthodox base for that third and final example. It looks like in this particular one we're maybe going to be using our queen charge to deal with that town hall. A couple of early super wall breakers going to be coming on through, looking to try and take down some of those wall compartments just to give our queen access. The good thing about them as well is because of these open wall compartments, they actually went further into the base and they got a nice early lure on that clan castle. So don't forget about the rest of your funnel. We've got that baby dragon going to be coming down, sniping off a couple of those buildings, making sure that queen goes in the direction we want. Now, super unlucky in this particular example, we decided not to rage up our queen, and she ended up going to her ability. So the good thing about the queen is you want to try and hold on to that ability for as long as possible, unless you're coming in with different equipment. But in this particular one, we're coming in with a really basic equipment with the archer puppet and the invisibility vial. So we want to hold that invisibility vial until we're right into the core of the base. But we're moving on to the next stage of the attack pretty quickly. Like I said, don't rush it as much as this particular attack. We're looking to hold on to those hogs and miners for just a slightly longer amount of time, because we do not want those hogs and miners to go onto the outside of the base, and we do not want our king and siege barracks troops to come onto the inside. So take your time, make sure that funnel is set up properly, but don't forget about your queen. We're going to continue watching her, use those rage spells as and when you need them just to help rage her up. In this particular one, we end up using that Eternal Tome ability as we come under this really heavy fire section of the base. We have the enemy queen, the enemy minion prince, we have the double multi-target inferno pushing through to that third inferno tower on the back end as well. So just trying to do everything we can to make sure those hogs and miners don't take too much damage. It was a beautiful use of that Eternal Tome ability, and we can now continue pushing on through to the back end. That Rage Belt, again, using it not only on the Queen, but like I said, if you don't need it for the Queen to keep her alive, transfer it over probably onto your miners rather than your hogs. And yeah, the heal spells, primarily, of course, you want to make sure you're using them on your hybrid portion of the attack, but you can always use them in this particular circumstance. If you see your healers are going down like this and you still need your Queen through the back end, you could potentially switch over your heal spells to help protect her. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to use it on the hybrid portion of the attack. If you're coming under fire from single target infernos, obviously you need to be far more careful with your Queen charges. You're going to have to use her ability probably to get through them, as well as some free spells. But when it comes to the hybrid portion of the attack, they are going to be far more comfortable pushing through the single target infernos rather than the multis. So there's plenty of different lessons to learn from this attack, but the main one to take away is 3-starring the Townhall above you is absolutely achievable. All you have to do is take your time, plan out the attack, and you should see those 3 stars roll in.